Good morning, everyone. My name is Marian Herrero, and I work at Your Wedding in Spain by MH. Today, I'd like to give you a bit information about my background so you can know me a bit better. I've got my degree in tourism ages ago, and that gave me the opportunity of traveling to different countries, working with groups as a tour guide, and in several languages. As you all know by now, I love talking very much. And I feel very lucky and grateful in my life because thanks to my languages skills, I can meet people from almost everywhere. And that makes me feel amazing. Really, it's a very good feeling. I decided to come back to Spain. So when I finally came back to Spain, I started to work as an event planner for different restaurants. And about 6 years ago, me and my partner started to create our own project that was plan all types of weddings. But after all this year, we realized that what really makes us happy is to plan weddings. So actually, we specialize in destination weddings, which means that we help couples to plan their dream wedding here in Spain. As you can imagine, I cannot do all this work on my own. So let me introduce you to my super David. David is my partner, and he is the other part of the team. He is most of the time behind the scenes, but I can really tell you that I wouldn't be able to do all this without him. Our main goal in our company is to make the couple happy and to enjoy the whole process from the very beginning. Planning a wedding is very stressful, and that's why we have created a special method that, to be honest with you, more than a method, it has become for us like a lifestyle, I would say. I'm talking now about our feeling method, right? Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, everything is about feeling. Don't you agree? Especially when you are thinking of hiring somebody who you don't really know personally to actually plan one of the most important days in your life, actually. So let me tell you a bit more about of our feeling method and why we base our job in these 7 keys. F for freedom. For us, it's very important that our couple feel free to say what they think. I mean, we are here to guide them, to advise them, but at the end of the day, it's their wedding, right? So feeling free is the key. E for experience. A destination wedding is much more than a regular wedding. People who are invited to a destination wedding, they actually make a big effort to come and share the day with the couple. So we are here to get the best out of it and create a whole experience, not just for the couple, but for the guests as well. So they will never forget it. E for emotion. We take care of everything before the wedding and during the wedding day. So that means that our couples can focus really on enjoying the day and feeling the emotions. Love. Sorry, L for love. Love. I mean, love is very important here. As the song says, love is in the air. And it's impossible to do a job like this, and it's impossible to do a good job without love. And we really love our jobs. I for imagination. For a couple during the planning, their imagination is very important. It's as important as trust is, because normally there's no way of tasting anything before the wedding, apart from the menu, right? But our goal is to make real the wedding they have imagined. And for neatness, we believe that paying attention to little details, small details, is what makes a wedding special. We will be there to make sure that the guests can notice that the couple have thought of everyone. G for group. This is the last part of the method, but it's one of the most important ones for us, because working as a group is what is how we can achieve the best results. We believe in the philosophy of working happy, and that's why we become the eyes of the couple in their destination. We don't plan a wedding for a couple. We plan the wedding for the couple. So that means that we are all on the same team. Sorry. So here are some samples, and as you can see on these pictures, during the planning process, something very special happens between the couple and ourselves. There's a connection between us all, and this connection actually will help us to sort out any inconvenience that could happen during the wedding day. Because let's be honest, some things sometimes are not going to happen as they were planned. Or say in another word, shit happens sometimes, right? But normally nobody notices if there is a problem, because we are there to solve it, right? And I have to tell you that in my experience, we have been very lucky with our couples, because the most of them trust us, and that makes our job much easier. Now I'm going to tell you why destinations weddings, why we specialize in destination weddings. When I started to work on events, I realized how difficult it was for couples to get what they had in mind for their weddings, either because they don't know where to look for the right supplier, or mainly because they have language barriers. Since that moment, I felt that I could help them to create their dream wedding. First of all, because I know the industry, I know how it works, I have the contacts, I speak the languages, but mainly, and this is for me my reason, my big reason here, is because I love to make people happy, and I actually know how to do it. I enjoy my job every single day. I love talking to my couples, giving them the best options and ideas, making them feel that they are in very good hands, not letting them down, but going even further, or even further from their expectations. All that is what I do for them, and I work very, very hard to plan the wedding, to create the best day that they could ever have. As you can see, everybody is smiling here. somehow, the way they feel when they decide to get married in a different country where they normally live is the way I personally felt when I went to learn languages abroad. I was on my own in a country that I don't know. I don't know anyone, not even the language, not being sure if I have met the right person. I always thought, when I was in that situation, I always thought that how cool would be to have somebody to rely on. I would have been more than happy to hire someone who can help me with the contracts to get to rent a house, somebody who supports me when searching for a job, someone who actually guide me with the whole process of making a new life in a new place. So that's kind of how I feel with the couples, right? So that's my big why. I love working as a destination planner because I know how they feel. I believe that this is the reason why they trust me. And when we do a job like this, trust is a big, big thing. It's actually one of the most important aspects, I would say. And talking about trust, these are some suppliers that I work with. I have to tell you that the majority of the couples that we have planned for, they came from the suppliers. They were referrals. So I'm telling you this because imagine how proud and grateful I feel when one of those suppliers, venues, caterers, photographers, call me and give me the contact of one of their couples. I mean, they know how hard we work and they know that we won't let them down. And I hope you feel the same. And this is my last picture. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, to pay attention. These were the aspects that I wanted to share with you today from your wedding in Spain. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and feel free to make any question from now on. But just one more thing, especially for Paul. Don't forget that with us, you'll have no stress, but happy weddings.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for a great presentation. I'm going to ask you to stop sharing this screen there. That was very enjoyable. I don't know how you feel, guys. How did you feel? You like it?
Yes, very much.
Very good.
Well done.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So,
I say I loved your photos. I thought your photos were fantastic from the first.
Thank you. I have to say that Sandra was one of the photographers of those pictures, right?
Right. Okay, yeah, no, I love them. They made me feel really good.
Thank you. Thanks.
So proud. So any questions that you have for Marian? Because we want to think in terms of how we can prepare good referrals for her over the coming weeks. So let's begin with Stefan and then Joanna and then Lucy.
Perfect.
Let's
If my bias is correct or not. Is it the female who makes the decisions or is it the 50-50?
You know what? It's
sorry.
actually, to be honest with you, I always say that a wedding is all about the bride. I'm sorry, but the most of the time is the bride. But I have to say as well that I try to make him to come to be involved with the planning, because when I have both of them is when the result is amazing. Because I can get to know him and I can get to know obviously her, and I'm able to create something for both of them.
That's so cool. And before we say Lucy, one little question: how do you make the groom be engaged? Because for us, the whole wedding thing is like,
whatever.
You should be engaged before. So
how do you do it?
Right. Well, I try to get to know him. What are their hobbies? What he really feels about the wedding. Just talking to them, having different chats. That's why it's very important for me. One of the main things when requests arrive to the mail or a phone call is, shall we have a meeting? Obviously, a video call or whatever, but I want them to see me, because it's where you can get the whole trust. They believe, because everything is online, but at the end of the day, we're planning one of the most important days in their lives. So it's like, it has to be really quite real. So I try to make appointments with them both all the time. So when are you available? So even if I have to, to get out of my agenda, of my normal thing, to have both of them, but it's important. That's how I try to make them get involved.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Joanna, you had a question in there.
Yeah. Who is your ideal client, Marian?
Right. That's a great question. I would say that it's somebody who is who wants to have a wedding in a different place from where they live. It doesn't matter where in Spain. We have done weddings in Madrid, in Granada, in Seville, Malaga, anywhere We have all the contacts that we need. So somebody who really wants to not doing a regular wedding, because as I said, a destination wedding is much more than that. It's actually you break the ice the day before, you do something, obviously the day of the wedding, and normally you do something after the wedding. So it's like, that's why I was talking about experience, because it's actually a whole experience. So normally they take it like a kind of a vacation, holiday. So it's that. So somebody who really wants to go out. So somebody who wants to have a different wedding. Obviously, the budget is a challenge sometimes, but we work with people who has not a big budget. I mean, the main thing is real people who want to have a real experience, right? And I would say that ages is in between 25 up to, I've done weddings for 55, people 55-year-old or even older than that. But I would say between 25 and 40 something is the ideal one, right?
Awesome.
And foreigners, of course.
And a little question before we introduce also Lina and Lucy. How do you convince this kind of extravagant couple that they think you to do something special and surprise the whole family? Usually in the UK, for example, they would take them to Barbados, so somewhere like that. So how do you convince them that Spain is the spot? How can we convince them that, have you actually thought of Spain?
Yeah, well, actually, when they if they contact us, it's just because they have already an idea that Spain could be a destination. I would say that the most of them have something related with Spain, with the country. Sometimes even with the destination they're looking for. Like, for example, people who have got married in Nerja is because they were on holidays here, and they get or they have been proposed. You know, the proposal has been in Malaga or in Granada. So there is always, most of the time, there's always a kind of a hurt thing there, if you see what I mean.
So, fantastic. And Lucy, your comment?
Yeah, my question is that in many countries, a wedding planner is considered as something luxurious. You know, like I can imagine that if I would tell my parents that I have a wedding planner, they would ask me if I won a lottery. You know, so is it still true? Because I know that even in Spain, there weren't that many wedding planners, but now they're kind of like reappearing. And I heard that a wedding planner can save you a lot of money on one side, because as you said, you have the context and you know how to, like, you know, deal with people. But I think that the first question that appears is the budget. Like, so what can people expect? I know it really depends on the type of wedding and everything that you do, but maybe could you tell us like the range?
Sure, of course. There's no problem at all. I'm crystal clear. I would say that the minimum would be 1,500 for a wedding, right? That would be the minimum in Malaga. If we have to go Granada or any further, Sevilla, there will be a travel cost applied, obviously. But when money is an issue, I always make them think about you'll have somebody who actually deals with everything, because they, for example, in the field of Sandra, or let's say a videographer, for example, will never cost less. A good videographer, right? Not a beginner. Someone who will be really focused on what they have to do. It will never be less than 1,200 or something like that. So, but that's only one service. You see what I mean? So if you actually have somebody who can deal with all the contacts, take all the stress out from you, you don't have any pressure, and it is really focused on make everything happen as planned, and you don't have to feel that pressure, is when people realize that, okay, I want to spend this money on it. It is worth it to spend the money, you know, because at the end of the day, you are normally as well, sorry, at the end of, I'm going to finish my first sentence. At the end of the day, it's all about money, right? It's all about money. But you have somebody who knows how to deal with a budget. It's like Lina was saying before. He gave me a budget and I managed to offer him, to make him a proposal, no, an offer. So that's actually how we work as well. So we have a budget and we deal with it. If you don't know, if you're not used to that, obviously you can spend loads of money on, for example, let's say, I'm just going to make a sample, a stupid one, but the entrance of the church, where you're going to be like 5 minutes. You can spend there like 800 euros in flowers, and that's it. And it's a donation for the church, which is good, but it's only like 5 minutes there. So I'd rather explain to you, listen, why don't you get this money? Why just put this here, or this actually that we can transport it and put it in another place. So having somebody who knows how things can get better, it's like having somebody who is advising you and looking for your benefits all the time. So that's why I think that at the end, the money that you invest in a wedding planner makes sense. Because as well, I never met a couple that wasn't working when they want to get married, if you see my point here. So they don't have the time. And if somebody is saving you time, it's saving you money in the end. Mm. So that's the thing. And I understand that they think like luxury, but I don't think it's that much when you compare it in a whole budget for a wedding. Maybe it will increase, Lucy, just to give you an example, maybe it will increase like 15 euros per person, the menu in a whole, but it's just 15 euros per person when you have a wedding of 100 people. That's nothing in a wedding budget.